Before I proceed, let me give you a little background about who I am, so you know that I'm not mistaken, and it would be ridiculous to assume that I'm mistaken. The people who would argue that I'm mistaken, most of them are people who are playing stupid who know that I am right. They would take the charge. Then there would be a bunch of people who are the type of fools who don't even know that there are rogue elements within our government. Well, I'm a 34-year-old man. I have a $3,000 top martial artist challenge that I've had for over 2 years. In 4 days, it'll be 2 years and 1 month, exactly. I have a degree in software engineering. I've never lost a debate on the internet, and I recently won a debate over whether government harassment exists. I'm the son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon, one a National Merit Scholar. Both of my brothers hold degrees. Almost everyone in my family that I know of above the age 18 has a degree. I'm a very educated, well-raised, middle-aged man. With that being said, the government has been harassing me for years. The police have demanded that I take medication because of my 4,000 videos on YouTube, which I offer $1,000 if anyone can disprove a single point. That challenge has been out there for 3 or 4 years. Not a single person has been able to do it. Many have tried. Not a single key point in over 4,000 videos has been disproven. So ask yourselves, could someone such as myself possibly be mistaken about something as obvious as people sneaking drugs into his food? And if you think that is the case, then I want you to disregard every single rape victim's testimony because they claim that there was drugs in their system. How could they know? If I couldn't know, and I'm well educated, how could somebody in college who doesn't have a degree know? How could somebody attending a high school party know? How could they possibly know? Even if they find the roofie or whatever in their system, how could they know that it was that night that they had it? So you see how ridiculous it would be to assume that someone such as myself is mistaken and some groupie fucking slut isn't. So then it behooves us to first believe someone such as myself, because of course the government, which spends Lord knows how many billions on propaganda every year, has every reason, every motive conceivable perhaps to drug someone such as myself who is a political dissident. Now, let's consider the difference between what I believe and what, say, the Democratic, the Republicans, and the Libertarians believe. There are countless Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians in the CIA. There are countless informants who honestly, and I do mean honestly, believe in gay rights, in feminism, in elitism, militarism, support the military-industrial complex, support mental health. There are countless numbers of these people who help the CIA, for example, rape and murder abroad. And actually, they do it here too. But many of you have not done your research to understand that, so I'm not going to get into that. Nobody, not a single person who sees things the way I do, who honestly sees things the way I do, okay, who honestly believes what I believe, rather, has ever helped the government in any black op. Only the people who attach themselves to mainstream movements, who do not believe in the true principles of Christianity, have helped the government. It is impossible to truly believe and to live your life as such and to help the government. So therefore, what I believe is superior to every known political party in America. Now, the reason why I bring all these things up before I bring up the topic of Swaney, you see, government harassment has been covered the most by ABC News. Okay? The most. CNN and RT and MSNBC, they have been relatively silent. Although they have covered subjects that are related to it, such as Edward Snowden, but perhaps only because everyone else is. So I then would ask you to consider, maybe Swaney was murdered because ABC News had covered government harassment recently, and they blew MK Ultra wide open in their 1979 documentary, which exposed much of the interworkings of national security, including covert experimentation, collaboration with prisons and their staff, universities and their staff, private corporations and their staff, and the criminal underworld and its members. Now, many of you will say, well, there's no evidence. Would you expect that there would be evidence? These are the people who have always operated with a philosophy of plausible deniability. And who is going to investigate them? Are they going to investigate themselves? And I wonder what sort of a conclusion that investigation would yield. I believe that there is a very good chance, although I'm not certain, that Swaney was murdered as a warning to ABC News not to cover logical, concise, articulate victims of government harassment such as myself. I'm sure they have no problem allowing them to interview people who look batshit crazy, people who are crazy, and people who are disinformation agents of the government. Regardless, the fact that there is a very high likelihood that Swaney was murdered by the government should have all of you just as appalled as I am. The fact that every major party has tons and tons of agents in the CIA, in the FBI, and other rogue elements of the government should have all of you as disgusted as I am. Our country is run by criminals, and people are victimized every moment of every day by these criminals. I am being covertly drugged for my political view, and because the military, intelligence agencies, universities, staff at mental health institutions, and other people familiar with hand-to-hand combat, such as martial artists who are informants for the governments, those of them who are, were unable to beat me at martial arts, even though they get $25 just to show and $3,000 if they could. And some of them sell out for less than that in a 6-month period. And they could not beat me. I repeat, the best and the brightest is what many military factions, the Army, Marines, and so on and so forth, claim that they have. They have special forces, but not a single one of them could beat me. Not a single one. I have countless videos where I call them out specifically. How many of my videos have the military or government in the title? But not a single one of them could beat me when I have well over 500,000 people aware of my challenge, most of them in the military, martial artists, in law enforcement, in intelligence agencies. Not a single one could beat me. These people are cowards with inferior beliefs that have allowed them to participate in immoral, unprincipled, unscrupulous acts of depravity under the guise of national security, under the guise of law enforcement and mental health. These people are inferior, mind, body, and soul. And you people should be ashamed if you belong to any major political party in the least. And you should be very aware that government harassment is alive and well today. And it is being done on American citizens. Thousands of them, all over the country, all over the world. People, I demand that you do the right thing for your children, and you no longer consider yourself a member of any major political party. I demand that you don't respect any of the groups I have mentioned, any institution in this country that has anything to do with the government, including education, should be looked at as the lowly, pedophile, fucking helping scum that they are. Thank you. Looks can be deceiving even if you have insight and information. For example, this hat, I know it's kind of funny style. It almost seems like it doesn't go, but when you look closer, it actually has the same color scheme, more or less, as the patch. I know. I'm going to work with it. Anyway, so in future videos, in order not to scare anyone who doesn't deserve to be scared, I'm going to read this out and to explain that I'm not fucking crazy and, you know. Anyway, this is the statement for future videos, future martial art combos, future warrior things. Sometimes I'll do it at the end, because if I'm really feeling it and I want to do things a certain way, I'll leave this for the end. And so when you hear this, you might want to skip over it if you've heard it a million times and so on and so forth. It's for the new guys. I have 3 flags because I relate to and empathize with these nations and movements. I wear Kung Fu gis with African freedom fighter patches to symbolize where the martial arts really came from and that I'm loyal to those ideas, not the Kung Fu Buddhist philosophy per se. I have crosses because I am a Christian, swords because they are part of martial arts, and since I am related to Templars. I have pictures on my wall for the same reason many people have bumper stickers, etc. It is to show what I believe when recording videos. That is why they are where they are. I have statuettes next to my black belt and trophy with Ikenga or Igbo statue pictures on the wall next to scripture. This is because martial arts was cultivated heavily in Egypt, and I relate to Horus as well as Anubis, balancing a heart with a feather, etc. Wasn't that a beautiful little statement? I thought so. Now, without further ado, shall we? A few kicks, shall we? Prove a single point. That challenge has been out there for 3 or 4 years. Not a single person has been able to do it. Many have tried. Not a single key point in over 4,000 videos has been disproven. So ask yourselves, could someone such as myself, before I proceed, let me give you a little background about who I am, so you know that I'm not mistaken, and it would be ridiculous to assume that I'm mistaken. The people who would argue that I'm mistaken, most of them are people who are playing stupid, who know that I'm right. They would take the charge. Then there would be a bunch of people who are the type of fools who don't even know over whether government harassment exists. I'm the son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon, one a National Merit Scholar. Both of my brothers hold degrees. Almost everyone in my family that I know of above the age 18 has a degree. I'm a very educated, well-raised, middle-aged man. With that being said, the government has been harassing me for years. The police have demanded that I take medication because of my 4,000 videos on YouTube, which I offer $1,000 if anyone can disprove that there are rogue elements within our government. Well, I'm a 34-year-old man. I have a $3,000 top martial artist challenge that I've had for over 2 years. In 4 days, it'll be 2 years and 1 month, exactly. I have a degree in software engineering. I've never lost a debate on the internet, and I recently won a debate